Mush Mouf is born. March 1st, 2020. First video. I think we need to sit closer together. What's the right way to hold the camera when you record it? Is it that way or that way? I'm never sure. Ashy ankle. Call it ashy ankle. You think I'm ashamed? Everybody's been ashy in their life. Call me ashy ankle. Well, you gotta point it at the ground, right? Point at my ashy ass ankles. Alright, I'm gonna tell you a story. Is it recording? Can I tell you a story? Maybe you should show the okay, press pause. Let me tell you what I'm gonna do. That one is recording. There's a microphone on the top. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, that totally makes sense. Well, I'm gonna tell you a story about a little bitty country town and a guy. I'm gonna try to see if I can wait for noises, but I'm gonna tell you a story about a little country town and a man who lived there. A great big man who strutted when he walked around town. That a great big man who had the power to change things. A man who was important in his community. This great big man who was the son of a mayor maybe or something like that. I can't exactly remember, but he was just that prominent in this small little southern town. He had a big house and lots of acres of lands. He had rows of watermelon. Watermelon, everybody loves watermelon, especially in the South. Black, white, it don't matter who. Everybody likes watermelon, which is a conversation for another day because I'm passionate about this watermelon revelation, but I'm gonna let y'all know about that another time. But anyway, so he had these watermelons, and he had a big house, so he had so much watermelon, it wasn't nothing for him to be out there just giving watermelon away to his folks, he didn't care anything about that. But this man watched over his watermelon, and so one day he started noticing that his watermelon was disappearing, and over time, more and more watermelon was just disappearing. As soon as they was coming up during that season, that was getting ripe, and as soon as it seemed like they was getting ripe, they just started disappearing one day at a time, one by one. That's how close attention was paid to. So one day he said he saw what's the man's name? Oh, here from my car. I don't know. I'm gonna keep talking like that sometimes, but when we have little side conversations, because that lady was wide open. She probably did have to get back to the church with the rest of the dinner. But yeah. So I don't remember the black man's name, but I probably shouldn't even say it if I could remember it right now. But he saw him walking by his field one day. He waved at him, whatever. Hey, sir, how you doing? This back in the day. This had to be, what, 50s? Maybe 40s. Who knows? This is me retelling of a retelling told by a drunken man. But the way he told it was way more hilarious. If I could find that file, I sure upload it. But anyway, so he was like, I bet that's... Oh, big truck this time. Don't pause it. Just let it go. Oh, yeah, maybe you should pause it. Because we'll run out of space. Okay, it's gone. Okay, so maybe this old boy eat my watermelon every day. And he saw him, and that man just got suddenly filled with rage. This black man, how dare he touch his watermelon? He didn't give him no permission to go in his garden, take his watermelon. Who did he think he is? His lazy self. He could be planting his own watermelon. And there's no reason he can't have his own patch. Even though he don't own the land he lived on, his family worked on all these years, decades, and generations. His family worked on, but he still ain't got no claims to it. Why won't he pull himself up by his bootstraps and get it together and do this? So this man said, I got something for him. He poisoned the watermelon. He risked his whole patch with this poison just to catch this man in the act, because how dare he? I'm gonna get this nigga, I'm gonna get him good.
Oh, damn.
So next day, he waiting. This is my retelling of a retelling, but I come from a lineage of great storytellers, but I might be jacking this one up, but it's my first try. So he's waiting, because he's waiting in the dark. Like he's not waiting out, but he just knows.
Not sure.
No.
Can you show up?
No, and he just knows that this guy is gonna show up and just rape his garden with his nigga hands. Just take whatever he want and just do what he want with his nigga hands. So yeah, kind of find out him staying up and him. Okay, wait, hold it up to me, baby. You see, I'm just leaning towards your lap. Him waiting paid off that night because sure enough somebody was in his garden and they was taking a couple watermelon that time. Oh, I feel myself putting a twist on the story. I'm gonna try to stick to what I was told. Anyway, so the man, so he let him go. He let him go with the watermelon that night, just feeling proud of himself. Like, yeah, I'm gonna find, you know, this nigga, he's gonna get his. He's about to get his. Yeah. So the next day, nothing goes on, nothing happening. Right, he waiting to see if old boy walk by his field. Of course, he waiting to hear some news probably about old boy, you know, not because he ain't walked down the field, okay, till later on, he's out there on the porch, and he look out, his doggone watermelon field is destroyed, can't nobody else eat him, so he gotta just go ahead and pull him up and get rid of him and stuff, you know, because he did what he came to do. Next thing you know, he hear over his shoulder as he checking watermelons. Good morning, sir. Oh, no, it got to be later on that day. Good evening. The fine day we had today. He look up, old boy, black dude, who he thought was stealing his watermelon, standing there smiling as he going down the street. He, standing there, those sure look like some fine watermelon. So white dude was like flabbergasted, like, what in the world? What? He just knew he had him. What happened? Like, this dude's still alive, standing here grinning at me like this? Oh, here comes our tire. Oh, okay, it wasn't that. Oh, it was kind of loud. Dude standing here, grinning at me like this. What happened? Oh, surprise. Oh, shot face, you know. What you doing? Where am I going? What you doing here, basically? Dude, he didn't say what you doing here, basically. He just standing there wondering how, you know, what? So dude just smiled at him, go about his day or whatever like that. So later on that night, dude say something about, nice watermelon patch. I wish I would have asked you for a watermelon, or could I buy a watermelon off you, but because they're so pretty, but I'm allergic to them. And so he just leave, right? So later on that night, and dude is puzzling, like, who was in his patch, really? And he get a phone call from his daughter-in-law that his son and his grandbaby had died because they got poison from the watermelon they had eaten for dinner that night. And that's the end of that one. And it just, you know, tell you how hatred kill yourself. You kill you. That racism is hatred behind it. I feel like everybody is prejudiced. Everybody. I feel like it's not one person who's not prejudiced or holds some type of prejudice. Prejudiced. Anyway, but it's hate behind it that makes it racism. You gonna hate somebody for something that they have no control of? That's racism. But everybody have a little prejudice. Just like in moderation. Don't act on it. I mean, watch. I typically take an individual for who they are, individually. Yeah, I'm gonna have my assumptions ahead of time. I can't deny that, yes, because it's just experience. Life teaches you to feel a certain way when you've come across a certain person or a certain demographic that has interacted with you in this particular type of way over and over and over. And so that's when that prejudice is developed. And if it's a negative interaction over and over and over, and you've been hurt negatively, you know, of course, negatively, if you're hurt, it's negative. But if you've been hurt repeatedly in this type of way, it turns into a racism. Or, yeah, even in the same way that if a white baby grows up friends with a black man or with a black boy, and his dad beats it into him to not like them. Oh, you cannot do it. And then the feeling that interaction between his father and himself makes it a negative interaction, so that turns into hatred, where the son would go ahead and accept it because he doesn't want that hurting interaction between himself and his father. So yeah, that's what I think about that. So that's the story, and that's kind of a little bit of the moral. You know, kill your hatred before you kill yourself. What, babe? Kill your hatred before you kill yourself. What else? Just, you know, act accordingly. You know, and that is all. Baby.